stylistically, this match for me much easier than other guys, you know. So in striking, I'm honest. I know the guy can knock me out, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone. I know the guy is good striker, one of the best guy who has hardest punches. But I'm one of the best grappler, best wrestler.
Yeah.
We're hearing the rumors. I have credible people telling me it's a possibility. Now I'm thinking to myself, will Dana White actually send Alex Pereira to the slaughterhouse here? How you gonna do my boy Alex like that, bro? This is first-degree murder. You're putting a fighter up against an...
Stylistically this match for me much easier and other guys, you know. So in striking I'm honest, I know the guy can knock me out, you know. Everyone, I know the guy is good strike, one of the best guy who was hardest punches, but I'm one of the best prop wrestler. He's not that. Khamzat Chimaev in an interview with Bisping announced that he can only be outboxed by Alex Pereira. He admits that Pereira's knockout power poses a significant threat. Despite this, Chimaev remains confident in his grappling skills, believing they could neutralize Pereira's stand-up advantage. We're hearing the rumors. I have credible people telling me it's a possibility. Now I'm thinking to myself, will Dana White actually send Alex Pereira to the slaughterhouse here? How you going to do my boy Alex like that, bro? This is first-degree murder. You're putting a fighter up against an assassin. The UFC world is buzzing with excitement as one of the most anticipated matchups in recent history is on the verge of being announced. Alex Pereira vs Khamzat Chimaev. This fight, if it happens, promises to be an epic showdown between two of the most intriguing fighters in the sport, both with drastically different styles and paths to fame. Fans are eager to witness a clash that has all the makings of an instant classic, a striker with unparalleled precision and power against a grappler with relentless dominance. Khamzat Chimaev expressed his desire to move up to the next weight division and capture the title there. He also mentioned Dana White, emphasizing that everything would be done according to White's will. Bill suggesting that his next steps are aligned with the UFC president's plans. Just one over here. Khamzat, congrats on the win. It seems like you're next up for the title. What do you envision your title run looking like? Do you want to clear out the middleweight division, or would you prefer to sort of go up to light heavyweight and challenge Alex Pereira, bro? I'm talk about 3 belts from a long time ago. So of course I want to go up, but what then? What do you see? What I don't know, but so if they gives me first, I has a in my white class need to take the BT, so then I going to think about it as well. Alex Pereira, the former UFC middleweight champion, has become a household name thanks to his devastating striking ability. His background as a 2-division kickboxing world champion has translated seamlessly into MMA, where he has terrorized the middleweight and light heavyweight divisions. Pereira's highlight reel includes a victory over Israel Adesanya, one of the most celebrated middleweights of all time, which only solidified his status as one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC. Music. The Weasel discussed the potential fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Alex Pereira on his YouTube channel, noting the uniqueness of Khamzat's career trajectory. He emphasized how Khamzat's shift through multiple weight classes from middleweight to welterweight and then up to light heavyweight would make his first title shot in such a different weight division particularly remarkable. He said there are rumors that he might be the one that fights Alex Pereira next, which would be insane. He started as technically a middleweight in the UFC, went down to welterweight, back up to middleweight, and then up to light heavyweight. Would be crazy in a title shot, his first title shot being 2 weight classes above where he usually fought. The Weasel also reflected on his view of Khamzat's chances against Pereira, aligning with Robert Whittaker's belief that Khamzat would likely win through grappling even if Pereira's striking might pose a serious challenge. He acknowledged the size difference between the two, with Pereira being much heavier, but also pointed out that Khamzat's grappling could overcome this. However, he warned that if Khamzat failed to secure a finish early, Pereira's superior striking could dominate. He then said, I agree with Robert Whittaker that Khamzat would beat Alex. I think so. Even though Alex is much bigger, he's probably like 15 to 20 pounds heavier. I think Khamzat will still take him down and submit him. But I also do agree with Whittaker that if Khamzat starts to get tired because he wasn't able to finish Alex and the fight stays standing, Khamzat has a harder time taking him to the ground. Alex would absolutely brutalize him in the stand-up. On the other side of this potential battle is Khamzat Chimaev, the UFC's rising star who has taken the MMA world by storm. Chimaev is known for his ferocious pace, incredible grappling skills, and an aura of invincibility that has left many opponents bewildered. With a perfect professional record, he has quickly climbed the ranks, dispatching opponents in multiple weight classes with ease. His dominance has been compared to that of legends like Khabib Nurmagomedov, making him one of the most exciting fighters to watch today. Chael Sonnen offered a critical assessment of Alex Pereira's abilities, suggesting that Pereira's skill set may not be as impressive as others believe. He argued that fans and observers might be overestimating him and that Pereira himself might not fully recognize his own limitations. Sonnen's comments pointed to a difference between the public's perception of Pereira and the actual level of his fighting ability. He said, "Alex Pereira is not that good. He's not as good as you guys think. You don't know what you're looking at. No offense, but you don't. But he's not as good as he thinks either." Chael Sonnen questioned how Pereira's victories could be seen as impressive if he wasn't truly at the level some believed. However, Sonnen acknowledged Pereira's growth, particularly in grappling. He believed that the former champion was gaining more confidence in his grappling skills both defensively and in scrambles, which was allowing him to press the pace and secure knockouts at a faster rate. Alex Pereira is not as good as the guys he's beaten. How does that work? What kind of a comment is that? Well, aside from being accurate, it's meant to speak the potential. You have not seen the best Alex Pereira yet, and one of the reasons that Alex is knocking guys out now at a little bit faster rate is because he's getting more confident in his grappling both defensively and ability to scramble, so he's walking them down more. The announcement of a potential Pereira vs Chimaev fight has sparked intense debate among fans and analysts alike. The matchup itself is a classic case of striker versus grappler, a storyline as old as MMA but one that never fails to captivate. Swirling right now that Alex Pereira is going to fight Khamzat Chimaev for the 205 belt. It's probably not true, but let's just entertain this for 1 second. How many of you guys truly believe that Alex Pereira would be able to fend off the takedowns and beat Khamzat Chimaev? Because I myself am not one of them. If they were to fight, Khamzat got a full camp to bulk up. I am taking Khamzat Chimaev to beat Alex Pereira, and just think about what Pereira's world-class striking honed through years of kickboxing gives him an edge in stand-up exchanges where his power and precision can end fights in an instant. On the other hand, Chimaev's grappling is among the best in the UFC, and his relentless pressure has overwhelmed every opponent he has faced so far. Is hypothetically good enough to have the 205 belt. He's definitely good enough to have the 185 belt after what he did and he would be a favorite over Tkus, and I think he'd be good enough to have the 170 belt too if he could make that weight, which means that the long hypothesized triple champ Khamzat Chimaev from 2020-21 actually could have happened if he stayed focused. Said this once and I'll say it again, I truly believe that Khamzat Chimaev right now is a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He just hasn't had the chance to prove it yet. What he did to Robert Whittaker was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen inside the octagon. No one does that to Whittaker. I actually wouldn't even be mad if this fight got booked, because I think it's an opportunity for Khamzat to make history, get the 205 belt, then drop down and beat Truss as well, and be a champion. Stylistically, this fight presents a fascinating puzzle. Pereira is the type of striker who doesn't just rely on power. He has an almost supernatural ability to find openings and capitalize on them with devastating accuracy. His left hook, in particular, has become one of the most feared weapons in the sport, and the reason for that is the threat of the takedown. If he goes into panic mode, he just can't loosen up. So Alex's learning curve is very meaningful. He's never had a wrestling match and never will. He's never had a competitive jiu-jitsu match that I am aware of, and I even looked into that. However, Pereira has shown vulnerabilities in the grappling department which could spell trouble against someone like Chimaev, known for his ability to take opponents down and smother them. Chimaev would undoubtedly aim to test Pereira's ground game early and often. Okay, we've established he's not the most polished, right? We talk about the greatest ever in the pound-for-pound. Start to bring in the Demetres, the Conor McGregor, the George St. Pierre, but guys that have got just as many on their feet as they got on the ground, right? They're just as dangerous, and either they're just as likely to transfer over to boxing to do well as they are to go after Abu Dhabi, right, and do well. It's somebody that really understands everything, and that damn sure is not Alex Pereira. Can we agree? But guess what? Alex Pereira is the first guy, and he is the only guy in the history of the UFC 300 pay-per-views later that reasonably could, and we would be open to the idea that he could be champ. That's never happened before. This potential fight is not without its share of controversy. Pereira has become something of a polarizing figure in the UFC, not just because of his dominance but also due to his outspoken nature and occasional run-ins with other fighters. His rivalry with Israel Adesanya